I
I'm so
stepped into
glad
the
we
Reed
could all be
family's house
together
feeling
tonight.
excited,
Merry
like this Christmas dinner would be the
To
start of
family and
something
friends.
perfect. Madison smiled at me, but there was something in her eyes I didn't catch. "Hey Ryan," she said, brushing past me. "Make yourself at home." "I will," I said, trying to match her smile. "You okay? You seem quiet." She rolled her eyes. "I'm fine. Stop hovering." Her mom, Linda, appeared, all bright cheer and welcoming hugs. "Ryan, I'm so glad you made it. Dinner will be ready soon." "Thanks, Mrs. Reed. Everything smells amazing." "Oh, you're too kind," she said. Then a tall guy with slick hair and a confident grin appeared beside Madison. "You must be Ryan," he said. "I'm Ethan. I've heard a lot about you. Good things, I hope?" I asked. Ethan smirked. "Depends who you ask." I glanced at Madison. She just shrugged, sipping her wine. "Relax, Ryan. He's joking." We moved to the table. I slid into the seat next to Madison. "You okay?" "Really?" I whispered. I said I'm fine. She didn't look at me. Linda asked about my job. I tried to smile. "It's going well. I'm still learning the new systems." Madison cut in, laughing. "Learning? Ryan, you're basically doing the same thing you did last year." I forced a smile. "Well, I like what I do. It matters to me." "Sure," she said, rolling her eyes. Ethan leaned closer. "So what do you really want to do, Ryan?" "I want to move up, maybe lead a project." Madison laughed. "He means he hopes they don't fire him first." I froze. "Madison, what's your problem tonight?" "Nothing. You're just being dramatic." I tried to ignore it, but my chest tightened. Linda asked about wedding plans. "We're deciding on colors, venues, stuff like that," I said. Madison snorted. "Ryan thinks planning a wedding is just picking colors." Ethan laughed loud enough for the whole table. "Man, she's got you trained." I swallowed hard. "I don't understand. Why are you doing this in front of everyone?" "Don't start," she said, waving her hand. I leaned in. "Did I do something wrong?" "No. You're just sensitive." Dinner arrived, but I couldn't eat. I focused on Linda. "Everything smells incredible." "Thank you," she said warmly. Madison muttered, "Don't flatter her. He does it every year." I blinked. "Because it's true?" Ethan tapped my glass. "So I heard you design the engagement ring?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "I wanted it to be personal." Madison laughed again. "Tell them about the first one." "He messed it up and begged the jeweler to fix it." My face burned. "I just wanted it perfect for you." "You try too hard, Ryan," she said. I stared at her. "Why are you doing this?" She shrugged. "Maybe I'm tired of pretending everything's perfect." "Pretending?" I whispered. Ethan cleared his throat. "Maybe she's just honest." I glared at him. "I wasn't talking to you." Madison snapped. "Ryan, don't be rude." I pushed my chair back. "I'm not trying to be rude. I just want to understand." "There's nothing to understand. You're overthinking." The table went quiet. Madison raised her glass. "Anyway, let's toast to a great year." Ethan added, "Some of us had a better year than others." Madison giggled. "True." I forced a smile. "If you want to talk privately, we can step outside." "No. We're fine." I nodded slowly. Inside, I felt frozen, like the person I loved had turned into someone I didn't know. I listened to their laughter echo around me, wondering how a night that should have been warm and full of joy turned icy and sharp. I tried joining small conversations, but every time I spoke, Madison interrupted with a sharp comment. I asked Ethan how he knew Madison. She answered for him, laughing. "Way better than you think." Everyone chuckled, but it felt like a punch in the gut. I stared at my plate, pushing food around. "Ryan, don't look so serious." "It's Christmas," Madison said. I nodded, forcing calm. But inside, my chest tightened. If she loves me, why does it feel like she's trying to break me in front of everyone? Dessert was served, chocolate cake and whipped cream, but I couldn't taste a thing. Madison suddenly stood, clinking her fork against her glass. "I have an important announcement," she said. My heart jumped. Finally, wedding plans? Maybe she's joking about something sweet. "What's up?" I whispered, leaning in. Everyone quieted. Linda looked curious, Greg furrowed his brow, and Ethan smirked. I've been rethinking everything," Madison said, her voice loud, clear. I froze. "Rethinking what?" I asked. She smiled, but it was sharp, cold. "This," she said, gesturing between us. I feel held back. My chest tightened. "Madison, what are you talking about?" She laughed softly, cruelly. "You're sweet, Ryan. You're dependable. but I'm not sure I want to marry you anymore. The words hit me like a punch. The air felt thick. I blinked, looking at her parents. Greg's face was unreadable, Sarah's mouth slightly open. My throat closed. You can't be serious, I said, voice shaking. I am, she replied, tilting her head. I need someone on my level. She glanced at Ethan. Their eyes met, brief and sharp, and I felt my stomach drop. I tried to speak again. Madison, please. Let's talk. She cut me off. No, Ryan. I think everyone deserves to know the truth. I can't marry someone who doesn't match me. Linda gasped. Madison. I said it's fine, Mom, she said, dismissive. I felt my hands clench. You're humiliating me, I said, barely a whisper. Ethan leaned back, smirking. Guess honesty is brutal sometimes. I started, but Madison lifted a hand. Ryan, stop. I'm tired of pretending I'm happy. You're a good guy, just not for me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab her hand and beg her to stop, to explain herself. Why now? At Christmas? She shrugged. Because I can. And maybe because I've been too polite before. Too quiet. Too forgiving. I looked around. Guests stared at me, pity and shock in their eyes. My chest burned, my legs felt weak. I thought we were happy. I thought. You thought wrong, she said, cutting me off again. I need someone ambitious, exciting like Ethan. You're sweet, but safe. Predictable. Boring. I felt my world crumble. I opened my mouth to speak, but no words came. My heart pounded so loudly I thought it would burst. I hope you understand, she said, smiling. I've made my choice. You'll find someone eventually, but it won't be me. I couldn't breathe. Madison, please? Ryan, it's okay, she said, softening just enough to mock me. Don't look so sad. You'll be fine. Really? I stumbled from the table. Greg tried to follow. Ryan, wait. Leave me, I said, voice shaking, tears stinging. I pushed past Sarah, past Linda's worried gaze, and ran out the door into the cold night. My hands shook, my chest a cage. I leaned against the brick wall outside, trying to calm down. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to scream. I wanted to understand why she had done this to me in front of everyone. But beneath the anger and humiliation, a quiet voice whispered, "She's hiding something." I closed my eyes, taking a shaky breath. Somewhere deep inside, a spark lit, not just hurt but awareness. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a mistake she thought she could get away with. And maybe, just maybe, I could turn it around. For now, though, I let the cold wind bite my face, the quiet hum of distant car engines filling the space where my world had just shattered. I got home and dropped my coat on the couch, my hands still shaking. I sank into the chair and ran my fingers through my hair. Madison wasn't here. She hadn't come back. "Where are you?" I muttered, staring at the empty apartment. I tried calling her. Straight to voicemail. I sent a text. "Madison, are you okay? Please answer." Nothing. I felt my chest tighten. I walked over to the kitchen and grabbed a bottle of water. I sipped, shaking. Think, Ryan. Think. My mind replayed the dinner over and over. The laughter, the smirks, the way she looked at Ethan. No, she can't. Then I noticed her tablet on the counter. I froze. It was unlocked. My pulse raced. I shouldn't, but I have to. I picked it up and started scrolling. The messages hit me first. "Ethan, she's so predictable. Your little safe guy doesn't stand a chance. Madison, he's sweet but boring. I can't wait." I dropped the tablet. My hands trembled. No, this can't be real. I grabbed it again. More messages. More pictures. Dates, dinners, late-night texts, hotel reservations. Everything I had ever trusted her with had been a lie. She had been with him while pretending to plan a life with me. I sank to the floor. My chest burned. My eyes stung. How could you do this?" I whispered, my voice breaking. I opened her planner. Notes in her handwriting. "Ryan doesn't notice. He's too predictable. Ethan makes me feel alive." Every line a dagger twisting in my heart. I called Mark. "Hey man. I need to talk." "Ryan? Everything okay?" "No, it's Madison. She's been seeing Ethan. I found everything. I don't know what to do." Mark was silent for a moment. "Jesus, Ryan. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to come over?" I can't think straight." I sank deeper into the floor, pulling my knees to my chest. My mind raced with anger, sadness, shame, and disbelief. She was laughing at me. She mocked me. Every single time. I started reading aloud to myself, shaking. "He's predictable. He's safe. I can't wait to leave him behind. My voice cracked. I hit the wall with my fist. Pain shot up my arm. Tears blurred my vision. I trusted you. I loved you. My chest felt like it would burst. I opened the last folder on her tablet. Photos of her and Ethan, candid shots from months ago. Smiling at each other, whispering. Whispering right under my nose while I thought I was building a future with her. I hit the floor with my fist again. I hate you. I hate you. How could you? Then, in the middle of the chaos inside me, a strange calm formed. My hands stopped shaking. My breathing steadied. My mind, though burning, started to focus. She thinks she can get away with this. She thinks she can ruin me and move on. Not happening. I sat back, clutching the tablet. I whispered to no one, she's going to pay. Not with rage, not with yelling, but the truth will come out. She can't hide it forever. I organized the messages in my mind. I repeated them quietly. Every lie. Every secret. Every laugh at my expense. I'll expose it. I have to. Mark called again. You still there? I'm here, I said. I think I know what I need to do. I need evidence, all of it. I can't let her walk away after this. I made a mental list. Messages, pictures, dates, hotel receipts. Every little thing she tried to hide. I whispered to myself, everything will come to light. A quiet fire grew in me, sharper than the pain or the betrayal. It wasn't just anger. It was clarity. Cold, precise. I would not be humiliated. Not silently. Not ever again. I sank into the chair, the tablet in my hands. My vision cleared. My heart still hurt, but a plan formed. I wouldn't confront her blindly. I wouldn't scream. I would gather everything. And when the time came, I would reveal the truth. I whispered into the empty apartment, you destroyed my trust. But I will not be destroyed. Not by you. Not by anyone. For the first time since dinner, I felt control returning. The anger, the sadness, the betrayal, they all fueled me, and I knew one thing clearly: Madison had underestimated me. And I would not make the same mistake she had. The door slammed behind me before Madison even stepped inside. Finally, I muttered. My voice was low, tight. She didn't even look guilty. I'm late. Got a lot going on, she said, tossing her bag on the couch. Can I just grab my things? I crossed my arms. You could have called. Or explained. She rolled her eyes. Ryan, calm down. You're acting ridiculous. Ridiculous? You humiliated me in front of everyone tonight. You lied. My chest tightened, but I forced calm. Why, Madison? She shrugged. Why what? Why do this? To me? To us. She snorted, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Ryan, you're too sensitive. Too boring. Not enough. You never get it. I swallowed. Not enough. She laughed. Yes. Safe, predictable, blah blah. I need excitement, Ryan. Life, passion, not you. I didn't respond. I let her talk. Let her dig her own grave. You act so serious all the time. I wanted someone who could keep up. Someone like Ethan. She glanced at me, then away. He gets me. You don't? Get you? I asked softly. Or get me out of your life without guilt? She frowned like I was being dramatic. Ryan, stop. You think you're so moral, but you're just... She waved her hand. Dull. I felt something snap inside. Not rage, not panic, something colder. Observation. I watched her like seeing her for the first time. She didn't respect me. Not a single ounce. She grabbed a box from the shelf. These are mine, she said, glaring. I nodded. Take them. I don't need your attitude, Ryan. You're so overdramatic. Always overthinking. I stayed silent. Let her go on. You really believed we had a future? I laughed at that, she said. Your parents, my parents, all of it. Pretending. I had fun lying. Fun watching you think you were special. My stomach turned, but I didn't flinch. She kept going. And those dates I told you about? She waved a hand. Some were Ethan. Some were me, doing what I wanted. You never noticed, Ryan. You never even suspected. Too predictable, too blind. I finally spoke, my voice quiet. So you weren't just lying to me. You lied to everyone. She tilted her head. Of course. They didn't need to know. They think I'm perfect. That's the point. I let that sink in. Every word, every lie, every betrayal. She didn't even realize she was confessing, spilling pieces of her secret life. She packed her things, muttering insults under her breath. You're weak, Ryan. You'll see. I'll be happy. She paused. You'll survive. Somehow. I watched her walk toward the door. Every step she took, I felt the weight lifting. Not relief, not joy, but a cold, burning clarity. She opened the door and turned her head, smirking. Try not to cry too much. It suits you. The door slammed behind her. Silence. I stood still for a long moment, listening to the echo fade. Then I whispered to myself, low and steady, "You'll regret this, Madison. I promise." I sank onto the couch, my hands trembling, not from fear, not from sorrow, but from something hotter. Something sharper than anything I'd felt before. Anger had turned into focus, betrayal into strategy. She thought she could break me. She thought she could walk away, smiling, laughing, untouchable. She didn't realize I had seen her fully, every lie, every mocking glance, every stolen secret. I picked up the tablet she had left behind. Her messages, the evidence she'd tried to hide, they weren't just mine anymore. They were ammunition. My clarity sharpened. Every insult she threw, every casual cruelty, every brag about Ethan, it would all be accounted for. I whispered again, this time a little louder, the fire in my chest roaring. You'll pay for this, Madison. Every lie. Every laugh. Every betrayal. I set the tablet on the table, hands firm, eyes cold. The apartment was quiet now, but the silence didn't comfort me. It fueled me. The woman I had loved was gone. In her place, someone I barely recognized, someone I didn't respect. And I realized for the first time that I didn't need to. I only needed the truth to come out. And I would make sure it did. The next morning, I woke with a quiet determination. Madison was gone, and for the first time since everything fell apart, I felt focused. I spread her tablet, phone, and planner across the table. Screenshots, messages, voice notes, hotel receipts, photos, every piece of evidence of her lies and deceit. I clicked through her messages again. All this, it's all here, I muttered to myself, scrolling carefully. Mark called right on cue. Morning, man. You okay? I'm getting there, I said, my voice calm but low. I've started gathering everything, screenshots, receipts, messages. Every little thing she tried to hide. I knew it, Mark said. I told you, Ryan. Something about Madison always gave me a bad feeling. I just didn't want to say it. I exhaled. Thanks, man. I need your help. I need someone objective. Of course. Send it over. Let's organize it. One clear story, no noise, no emotion, just facts. I smiled weakly. That's exactly what I need. I sent him screenshots, videos, and voice notes. While he sorted, I stared at the pictures of Madison and Ethan, their smiles frozen in moments that had destroyed me. She didn't leave me for love. She left for attention, I whispered. Mark's voice came through. Ryan. Ethan isn't new to this. He does this all the time, breaks relationships, wins people over out of ego. Look at this. I opened the folder he sent. Stories, articles, forums. Ethan's pattern was clear, using charm, manipulating feelings, leaving a trail of ruined trust. You're kidding me, I said. He's done this before? Exactly. And Madison fell right in line. She didn't leave you for passion or love. She left for validation. She wanted to feel wanted, noticed. I leaned back, my chest heavy but calm. So it's not me. It's them. Always been them. Mark chuckled softly. Exactly. And now we have proof. Every lie, every secret, everything she thought she hid. You're in control. I picked up a receipt for a hotel room Madison had booked with Ethan last month. All the pieces fit, I said, voice low but steady. Every excuse, every late night, every laugh at my expense. It was never about love. It was attention, power, ego. You're doing the right thing, Mark said. Don't let emotion cloud it. Keep it simple, keep it factual. You'll expose the truth without giving her the satisfaction of a fight. I nodded, feeling a strange sense of peace. I can see how easily their whole relationship will collapse once the truth comes out. They're building it on lies. Exactly, Mark said. And you've got the blueprint. You're not just reacting, Ryan. You're prepared. Come. Strategic. I picked up my phone and started organizing the evidence into one folder, labeling messages, dates, and receipts. It's strange, I said aloud, almost to myself. I used to feel so weak, so crushed. Now, I feel like I've taken something back. My power. My control. My dignity. Mark laughed softly. That's what happens when you face the truth. When you see it for what it is, you stop being a victim. You become unstoppable. I glanced at the photos of Madison and Ethan again. They think they've won. They don't even know the truth is coming. And when it does, I paused, letting the thought settle. It won't be pretty. Mark said nothing for a moment. Then, Ryan, remember. Don't let anger rule you. Let the facts speak. That's what will hit hardest. I nodded. I will. This isn't about revenge. It's about clarity, the truth, and finally, justice. I looked around the apartment at all the evidence laid out before me. For the first time in days, I felt calm, sharp, focused. The fire inside me wasn't wild or uncontrolled. It was precise, measured. I whispered to myself, low and certain, I'm taking back what she tried to destroy. My trust, my life, my story. And when the truth comes out, Madison, you'll see just how small your victory really was. I stepped into the Reed house again the next day, my chest tight, my hands steady. Linda greeted me with a tentative smile. Ryan, we weren't sure you'd come back. I had to, I said softly. We need to talk. Greg furrowed his brow. About last night? I nodded. Yes. About everything. Madison and Ethan were already there, sitting at the table. Madison's hair was perfect, her posture flawless. Ethan grinned, that smug look that made my blood boil. They were pretending like nothing had happened, like they'd already won. I took a deep breath. I need a moment. Madison tilted her head, frowning. Ryan, we were just talking about moving forward. You don't need to. I cut her off, calm, steady. No. I need to share something first. Her eyes narrowed. Ryan, wait. I ignored her. I pulled out my phone, the evidence carefully organized. This is Madison and Ethan, together while I thought we were planning a life. Messages, voice notes, receipts. Every date she lied about, every insult she whispered behind my back. Every laugh at my expense. The room fell silent. Linda gasped. Greg stiffened. Sarah's mouth hung open. Madison paled. Ethan stammered, I held up my phone, scrolling slowly. Here. Late-night texts. Hotel bookings. Proof of conversations where she mocked me. Look at the dates. Look at the times. All of it. Madison's voice trembled. Ryan, that's not... I cut in calm. Not what? Not real? I've been patient. I've let her speak, I've let her dig her own grave. This isn't about anger. This is truth. Every lie she told you, every insult she hid, every secret she tried to bury, it's all here. Ethan's grin faltered. I held up a voice note. Madison's voice laughing at me. Too safe. Too predictable. Ryan will never compare. I played it. Her words echoed in the room. Linda's hand went to her mouth. Madison, is this true? Madison swallowed, silent. Ethan shifted, unable to meet anyone's gaze. I continued, steady, measured. This isn't just about me. She lied to you too. She made fun of your cooking, your holiday traditions, your home. She humiliated me, and she hid it from all of you. Greg's face turned red. Madison, how could you? I scrolled through more messages. Dates with Ethan, lies about work, about me. Everything she thought I wouldn't see. Everything she thought she could get away with. Madison's lips trembled. Ryan, you're making a scene? I shook my head. No, Madison. This isn't a scene. This is reality. Every detail, every betrayal. I trusted you. I loved you. And you chose to destroy me for attention, for validation, for him. Ethan stuttered. We didn't. I didn't let him finish. You were complicit. Every smile, every laugh, every plan behind my back. You're both responsible. Linda clutched her pearls. Sarah's hands shook. Greg's jaw tightened. Madison sank into the chair, silent for the first time. No more smirks, no more lies. I set the phone down, letting the room absorb it. You see, this isn't about revenge. This is about truth. Justice. I'm not here to yell. I'm not here to destroy anyone. I'm here to show what's real. Madison tried to speak, but I held up a hand. No, Madison. You spoke enough last night. You revealed more than you realized. Now it's time everyone else knows too. I detailed each message, each meeting, each insult. Every lie. Every plan. Everything she thought would stay hidden. I have proof, and you all deserve to know. The room was quiet except for the occasional gasp. Ethan's excuses faltered, his ego shrinking under the weight of fact. Madison's face drained of color. Her parents' shock and hurt mirrored my own pain from last night. When I finished, I looked around. My hands weren't shaking. My chest wasn't tight. I felt control returning, not over them but over myself. I had taken back what she tried to steal. My dignity, my voice, my truth. Linda's voice trembled. Ryan, thank you for being honest. I had no idea. Greg nodded slowly. I don't know what to say. I'm proud of you, son. For facing this. Sarah looked at me, tears brimming. I'm so sorry you went through this. You didn't deserve it. I exhaled, feeling the last pieces of humiliation lift. I had been betrayed, yes, but now the power was mine. Not revenge, not anger, but clarity, truth, justice. Madison sat in silence, unable to defend herself. Ethan slumped in the chair, stammering as he tried to excuse himself. I realized then that the world had shifted back in my favor, not by me attacking, but by me simply showing the reality of what had been hidden. I whispered quietly, more to myself than anyone else, truth always wins. And now, it has. Madison's face was red, her hands shaking as she screamed at everyone. This isn't fair. Ryan, I didn't do anything wrong. I said quietly but firm, standing my ground. She spun toward Ethan. And you were supposed to make me happy. You lied to me too. Ethan stammered, looking uncomfortable. I didn't. You're pathetic, I said, voice low, watching him shrink back. Madison's parents averted their eyes. Linda shook her head, muttering, Madison, stop this. Greg's hands tightened into fists, but he said nothing. I can't believe this, she continued, turning to the room. Everyone thinks I'm the villain? Everyone's against me. Sarah stepped forward, her face red with anger. Madison, stop blaming everyone else. You did this to yourself. You lied, you humiliated Ryan, and now you're shocked it backfired. Madison's scream caught in her throat for a moment, but then it roared again. You don't understand. I'm the victim here. I stayed silent, my heart pounding but my voice still steady. I didn't need to shout. Her words were unraveling her already. Every lie, every smirk, every betrayal was finally being reflected back at her. She stormed toward me, tears streaming. Ryan, we can talk outside. Just, please? Just a moment, okay? I looked at her, truly looked at her, the person I had once loved. Madison, I said softly, every word deliberate. I loved you. I trusted you. I believed in us. And you broke me. Her face twisted in confusion. But, no. Madison, I'm done. I cannot give you my time, my trust, or my heart anymore. You made your choices. You made your lies. And I will no longer carry the weight of your betrayal. She grabbed my arm, sobbing. Please, just a word, a moment. I gently pulled away. No. I've given you enough of my life already. Enough of my heart. I'm walking away. The neighbors, alarmed by the screaming, had called someone. A uniformed officer appeared at the door. Officer Daniel Brooks, polite but firm. Is everything okay here? Linda and Greg waved him off. We've got it under control, Greg said. Madison's sobs turned frantic. Ryan, don't leave. I need you. Please. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. Every step I took away from her was a step toward freedom, toward clarity. Madison, this is the last time. Goodbye. She called my name again, louder, desperate. Ryan. Ryan. I didn't look back. I walked down the steps, feeling the cold air bite at my face, but it didn't matter. Inside, the heaviness that had been pressing on me for days, months even, was finally lifting. The tears that streamed down her face no longer held power over me. The anger that had burned in my chest was now a quiet flame of clarity. I had faced betrayal, humiliation, and deceit, and I was walking away without feeling small. Officer Brooks stood nearby, watching Madison sob uncontrollably. Do you want to press charges? He asked her softly. No, she cried. This isn't about the police. It's about him. He left me. I felt nothing but quiet resolve. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The evidence, the truth, the reality of her choices were already speaking louder than anything I could say. I walked to my car, feeling the ground solid beneath my feet. Every step reminded me I wasn't the man who had walked into her lies blindly. Every step reminded me I had control over my own life. Madison's cries faded behind me. I could still hear her calling my name, pleading, begging, but I kept walking. The cool night air stung my face, but it felt good, real, honest, a reminder that I could breathe freely again. In the quiet of the street, I whispered to myself, barely audible, it's over. Finally, it's over. No one could touch the part of me that was calm now. The part of me that had suffered and endured was intact, stronger than it had ever been. I wasn't shattered. I wasn't small. I wasn't weak. Somewhere behind me, Madison's voice cracked again. Ryan. I didn't answer. I didn't look back. I walked faster. Every step away from her, from the chaos, from the lies, was a step toward reclaiming myself. And in that moment, something heavy, something dark, something suffocating that had been pressing on my chest for months lifted entirely. The betrayal, the humiliation, the heartbreak, they no longer had power over me. I was free. I whispered again, quieter this time, to myself and no one else, "I'm done. You don't get to touch me anymore. Not now. Not ever." Madison's cries echoed in the distance, but they were just that, echoes. I had already stepped out of the shadow of her lies. My chest felt lighter. My steps felt sure. For the first time in years, I walked into the night without looking back, without feeling small, and with the certainty that I had survived. Weeks passed. Madison tried calling, texting, even showing up at my apartment once. I blocked everything. No response. No acknowledgement. Nothing. "Man, she's relentless," Mark said one morning over coffee. "But you're doing the right thing. Don't look back." "I know," I replied, stirring my coffee, letting the warmth fill my hands. "It's just quiet now. Weirdly quiet. Quiet is good. Quiet means she's out of your life. Now focus on yourself," he said, eyes firm but encouraging. I nodded. He was right. I had spent so long reacting to her, letting her lies define my emotions. Now it was time to rebuild. Emily Hayes sat across from me in the break room that afternoon, sipping her tea. "You okay?" she asked softly. I hesitated, then nodded. "Better than okay, actually. I'm starting to breathe again." She smiled. "I'm glad. I always worried about you with her." "I know," I said, a hint of a chuckle escaping. "You tried to warn me once. I didn't listen and, well, I learned the hard way." "You're learning anyway," she said gently. "And you're taking your life back. That's what matters." Her calm, honest presence was a balm I hadn't realized I needed. She didn't push. She just listened. And for the first time, I felt understood without judgment. Mark called me later that week. "Gym session tonight?" he asked. "Yeah, let's do it," I replied. I needed the physical release, the focus, the discipline. Every push, every pull, every run helped me shed more of the weight she had placed on me. At the gym, Mark clapped my back. "You're looking sharper already. Mind and body both." I grinned, feeling the first real spark of confidence in months. Feels good to fight for myself instead of against someone else. Work became my refuge. I stayed late on projects, diving into tasks that challenged me, that reminded me I was competent, capable, and valued. Emily occasionally stopped by my desk. "You're really killing it on that report," she said one evening. "Thanks," I said, glancing up and catching her smile. It wasn't flirtatious, not in a pushy way. Just warm. Supportive. Real. She shrugged, taking a sip of her coffee. "Just telling the truth. You deserved to hear it." And I did. I deserved honesty, calm, clarity. Not lies, not manipulation, not humiliation. Some nights, when the apartment was quiet, I reflected on everything. Madison's betrayal, Ethan's arrogance, the humiliation, the heartbreak. But instead of feeling crushed, I felt aware. Stronger. I had survived. I had confronted, endured, and walked away. I texted Mark one night. Feeling normal again. Hard to believe. He replied almost immediately. "Normal is the first step. Then comes better. Keep going." Better. That word stuck with me. It wasn't just recovery. It was growth. It was reclaiming the parts of myself I had let her overshadow. I joined a new workout routine, started cooking meals I liked, and even treated myself to small things I had denied myself. Simple acts of self-care became symbols of my new life. Emily asked me one afternoon, "Do you ever think about her?" "Sometimes," I admitted, "but it's different now. Not anger or sadness. Just observation. Understanding how toxic it was. And gratitude that I got out before it got worse." She nodded, smiling. "That's huge, Ryan. Most people don't get that clarity for years." I realized she was right. I was lucky, painful, yes, but lucky. I had faced the worst, and now I was slowly building the best. Not a fantasy life, not a perfect life, but a real one. I even laughed again. Small moments. Mark telling a dumb joke, Emily's stories from work, music blasting in the gym. Laughter without guilt, without fear of judgment. Freedom in its simplest form. One evening, sitting on the balcony, I whispered to myself, "I survived. I'm stronger. I can trust again. I can love again, someday." The heavy weight that had pressed on my chest for months was gone. I breathed deeply, letting the cold night air fill me, grounding me. Mark texted, "Dinner tomorrow?" My treat. I smiled, typing back. "Absolutely. Let's celebrate surviving the chaos." And for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel small. I felt steady. I felt alive. And I knew whatever came next, I could face it, because I had already faced the storm and learned how to breathe again. My phone buzzed, a message from Madison. I froze for a second, reading the screen. Ryan. I know I destroyed everything. I was selfish, cruel, and I regret it more than I can say. Can we talk? Please. I need to make this right. I stared at it, the words heavy, familiar, poisonous. Part of me wanted to reply, to hear her out, to feel her apology in person. But another part, the stronger part, pushed back. I whispered to myself, steady and calm, no, not this time. I tapped delete. The message vanished. No confrontation, no argument, no lingering pain. Just gone. Mark called that afternoon. You okay? He asked. I smiled softly, holding my phone. Better than okay. I deleted it. I didn't even hesitate. That's huge, Ryan. That's freedom. Yeah, I said, feeling it in my chest, in my lungs, in the weight I hadn't realized I was carrying. Freedom. Clarity. Control. I spent the next morning walking, listening to the city hum, the cold air crisp against my skin. I reflected on everything, Madison's lies, the humiliation, the heartbreak. And then I thought about the weeks after. Mark's encouragement, the gym, work, Emily's quiet support, rebuilding myself piece by piece. I stopped outside a small cafe, Emily already there waving. Hey, I said, sliding into the seat across from her. You look different, she said, smiling gently. Stronger. I feel different, I said honestly. I can breathe again. It's strange, but good. Emily nodded. I'm glad. You deserve that. You worked for that. I'm proud of you, Ryan. I smiled, this time without forcing it, without any trace of pain lingering. Thanks, really. It's been a journey. She chuckled softly. I can see that. We sipped our coffee, talking about mundane things, work, weekend plans, favorite shows. No pressure, no expectations. Just conversation. Comfort. Honesty. At one point, Emily paused, looking at me. You're open again, aren't you? Not love, but life. I nodded, thoughtful. Yeah. I'm not in love, not yet. But I'm open to a life that isn't defined by pain or betrayal. I'm finally willing to live again. She smiled, reaching for her cup. That's huge, Ryan. That's what matters. I watched the Christmas lights outside the cafe window, their soft glow reflecting on the street. The city buzzed, people passing, laughter spilling from other tables. For the first time in months, I felt like I belonged, not just in the world but in my own skin. I whispered to myself, quiet but firm, I survived. I healed. I'm stronger. And I get to keep this, my life, my peace, my story. I thought back to the nights I had cried alone, the humiliation, the betrayal, the nights I doubted my worth. I remembered the moments when Madison's words cut deep, and I remembered the weeks of slowly reclaiming myself. Every push-up, every late-night project, every small conversation with Emily, every word from Mark, they had led me here. Ryan. Emily's voice pulled me back. I looked at her, smiling softly. Yeah. Are you really okay? I nodded, confident. Yeah. More than okay. I'm free. I finally get to live my life on my terms. She smiled, warm and reassuring. I'm glad. I glanced at the lights outside again, their glow dancing in my reflection on the window. I breathed in slowly, deeply, and exhaled, letting the cold air fill me completely. Sometimes I thought losing someone is the only way to find yourself. Madison took a part of me, but I took it back. Stronger, wiser, unbroken. And as the city moved around us, as laughter, music, and light filled the night, I felt something I hadn't in a long time, peace. I raised my cup to Emily. Here's to new beginnings. She raised hers. To breathing again. And for the first time in months, I felt it truly. I breathed freely again, unburdened, unafraid, and ready for whatever life had in store.